Welcome to Papa Junk Shop. Now I'm still messing around with this Coleman generator. Decided I was gonna make kind of a thing to test engines, or I could use it as a generator too. I guess you might call it names eluded me, where they load test things. It'll come to me later after I shut the camera off. Anyways, I found this old cart. I guess you call it a cart. I think it had a compressor, motor and a compressor on it, and I used the compressor for something else, and I don't think the motor was any good. But anyways, I saved this. It was in the scrap pile. So I'm going to mount the generator right there permanently, and I've already center punched where the holes go. And this thing had one of these on each end, which I'm not going to use. And I found an old part of a speed control. It says Reeves on it. And it can move by turning this crank, and I can mount an engine on here and then use it to tension the belt up and make it easy. I can swap different engines, try them out on it. And I'm going to make this so that it can slide back and forth this way. I'm going to put some slots in here. I know you may be able to see the marks. I've already got it laid out. I'm going to mill some slots in here, and then instead of putting nuts on it, I'm going to put a piece of band iron underneath, threaded, and I got some cap screws that are going to go down through. That way I don't have to mess around trying to hold a nut and stuff on the bottom. I can just loosen this up, or loosen all four of them up and move it if I need to, depending on the engine. So I'm getting started on her. I'll show you as I go along. And as soon as I push the button on the camera, sort of a dynamometer, I guess you'd call it. Won't have any gauges or anything to tell me actual horsepower or that type of thing, but I can come up with some kind of a chart by loading the generator down and get an idea how an engine's performing, maybe. But just something to play with. Hey, I got the slots milled 3/8 of an inch. I thought you were going to see that, but apparently I didn't push the button on the camera all the way or something. Anyways, it didn't record it, so, but they turned out alright. It seems to be square and everything. So I just held it in the vise like right back here, so it was kind of iffy. It vibrated a little bit and squeaked a little bit, but it cut nice. And I used the 3/8 end mill in a drill chuck. And the reason when I'm making slots like this for bolts to slide in, I usually use a drill chuck because they're not as accurate as a cullet, and it wobbles a little bit, and it'll make the slot just a little bit wider, and that'll give you a little more clearance for these bolts, so they'll slide a little easier. See, this isn't anything that's got to be precision, so it works out good that way. Gonna get some deburring done here, and I'm debating on whether I want to fill in some of these holes. Thing looks like Swiss cheese and other stuff that's been mounted on it. I think that compressor was here, and there must have been a couple different motors because there's a bunch of different holes. So haven't decided yet. I guess you'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's try out these new drill bits that I got from a viewer. 5/16. way better than the ones I was using. Doesn't take much pressure at all. Alright, drill bits definitely work better than the ones I was using. Take very little pressure, drill nice holes. Yeah, I guess you probably noticed I did weld most of the holes shut. Extra holes. So it doesn't look like Swiss cheese anymore. Well, I got the generator sat in place, dropped bolts down through it. I don't have any nuts or nothing on the bottom. And I got this set in place and I got 4 bolts dropped down through there. And this slides back and forth nice. So I got to make the plates for the bottom threaded so that you don't have to hold a nut when you loosen this up to move it. And I got a leg off a sign that I want to try to make a handle that'll fit underneath there that I can pull out so I can wheel it around easier when I have to bend over. So I'm going to go to work on those parts next. I was working on the band iron piece that's going to go underneath the engine mount, and I drilled a 17/64 hole in here so I can tap at 5/16 for the bolts, and I used one of them new drill bits. And they drill really nice, and you can't even tell there's no burr on there. It's really really a nice job. I'm really impressed with those. Okay, I got the 2 band iron pieces done, and of course I did them twice because I did it 5/16 and then discovered it was supposed to be 3/8, so I got practiced up on that, but this is how it's going to work. And let's see, put this over here, and this will be the handle, and it's going to go right about like that. Actually, you can go back a ways, probably about right there. So pull out, lock in place, and I'll just weld that here, here, and back here. And with this piece here will be the stop when it goes in. So that'll be next. Okay, got the handle welded on. That's how she's going to work, and be able to lift it up like this and wheel it around. Everything clears here, so I think we're good. Might be time for some cleaning and painting, because I think I got everything made for it. See you in a bit. Well, I had a rattle can with some hunter green in it, so that's the color it's going to be. Okay, got her assembled. Everything seems to be okay. I guess maybe I'll go see if I can find an engine that looks like it. might be a good candidate to try on there. One of my old ones. Maybe I can find a Clinton or a Briggs or something. Give me a few minutes and I'll be back. I went up and found an old Clinton that I redid a couple of years ago. Haven't run it since. Got some bolts gathered up. We'll see if we can get her bolted on there. This one's a little different. Two of the bolts go up through from the bottom and two of them go down through from a little foot. So something a little different to give it a try. Okay, got the engine bolted on. And I didn't have a gas line on it. I forgot I didn't have any hose barbs or anything, so I had to dig up some of that. So got her all together and put some gas in it. Started first pull, and I got it mounted, or belt on it, and you can see as I tighten this handle, you can see the belt tensioning up. So everything seems to work okay so far. So these are only like a horse and a half, I think. So we're not going to get much performance out of it. I played a little bit with it off camera and put my load bank on it. On the lowest setting, it's only a little over 2 amps, and it'll just barely do that. So I'll put you on a tripod and show you. Now another thing, of course, I picked an engine that I didn't have an adjustable speed control on it, so I messed around with a bunch of springs until I got one that would be about right. So got a lot of iffy stuff going on here. The engine was running about 1700 RPM, and the throttle's wide open. About 63 cycles. You could hear how it slowed down. Going here to the load bank. And what we got, about 2 amps, 110 volts. 60 cycles, that's all she'll do. Okay, I took the belt off, let her go down to an idle, let her cool off for a little bit. I'm sure it's a lot happier doing that. These little Clintons always are nice little engines. Pretty amazed at how much power is used by the belt. Takes quite a bit of power to flex them things, and the friction on the pulleys and stuff, so I think it's going to work out for what I wanted, just to try things on, and wasn't too bad a project. I guess we'll call this one done. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe. See you next time.